This is FD Talks, a brand new podcast series by Funeral Directors Life, where we explore ideas, insights, and solutions for serving families in a rapidly changing marketplace. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to today's episode of FD Talks. Today we're back in the studio to talk with FDL's Vice President of Digital Marketing, Mitchell McLean. Mitchell, thanks for being here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We brought you here we'd like to, learn about some of the latest results from the digital marketing team and maybe see how funeral homes are being able to use some of the marketing tools that you guys have created to grow their business.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about, there's lots always changing with digital marketing, and I think it'll be a great conversation.
Awesome. Hey, before we get started, though, let's talk a little bit about your history with the company.
Yeah, so I joined the company in 2015. I started as a web designer and was helping with search engine optimization. And then 2017, I joined the marketing department. That's where Facebook was really taking off in the funeral industry. And we saw a lot of opportunity with lead generation and helping brand funeral homes on Facebook at that time.
Do you think that some of your web design and SEO background and stuff like that really has kind of helped culminate you into more of a digital marketing perspective? Is that giving you some unique perspective on that?
The great thing about the web design is, there's obviously a lot of technical parts to digital marketing, but there's also the marketing part. So there's the creative, which is one part of your brain, and the technical side, which oftentimes the other. And, there's a lot of times you have to understand how to technically get it done, but have the creative to think about how will this be perceived by the consumer. And so given that experience helped me tremendously with kind of just knowing how to get things done, with marketing.
Awesome. Hey, I guess kind of to get us started here, for the sake of context, can you give us just an idea of what we're going to be talking about today? What is digital marketing, and why should funeral homes be interested in it?
Yeah. So digital marketing, marketing in the really sense is just meeting people where they are. If you're marketing on a place that no users are at, either no users or your demographics are not there, you're going to be wasting your time, energy, and resources. And so what we find in digital marketing, especially through COVID, has really made users use these digital platforms a lot more. So Facebook has been tried and true for many years, but what we've really seen is YouTube blow up in the last few years. A lot's changed with how consumers take in media, where TV and radio has been declining over time, just, either through DVR, through surfing, or on TV. A lot of people are using streaming platforms. YouTube has really grown their platform and also been like a social media platform because there's, two-way engagement within YouTube with the comments, and a lot of times you see engagement with the people who produce content. The last one is Google. Google, is the search engine optimization of choice of most people. That's about 92% of the market, with the second closest being Bing at 3%. And so consumers are going to Google with questions, and, either the funeral home providing those answers or being service options. People, and I do this too, go to Google when they need a service to be done, and I don't know who I would use. A lot of people are using Google to find that service option. I would say additionally, we see that, from research that we follow through Pew Research, talking about the top social media platform, to a more industry specific, McKee Walworth did a study on our funeral industry that over 90% of the people they surveyed are on platforms that we target daily.
Great. So tell me some of the things you've been working on lately, and where are you probably seeing some of the most exciting results for funeral home clients?
Yeah, so what I've seen is with our funeral home clients that utilize these platforms, what I want to understand is how much, return on investment are we actually providing them? And since we're a pre-need company, we have all that revenue data for the different funeral home clients that are on different platforms. So what we found is when a funeral home comes on Funeral Directors Life, that they grow about 10% every year from inception. If they utilize social media management platform, they grow about 22%. And then what really amazed me is that they use Facebook, Google ads, and YouTube ads. We see that they grow over 60%. And so it's those forward-thinking funeral directors that you'll see that achieve, because they're spending their time where their consumers are, and they're engaging them in multiple ways, that's where they have the growth on the pre-need side, which then will turn into at-need.
Wow, those are good numbers. So what do you think maybe some of the newest frontier that you guys are looking at conquering? What's some of that looking like right now?
Yeah, the newest thing that we've seen a ton of growth with lately is YouTube. There's lots of options with YouTube. The platform is really great for users on the content side, but also for the advertisers on ways you can target people. Obviously, YouTube's a search engine, so when people go to YouTube to find content, they're searching through. And so we're actually uploading the content that we produce in our AV department on the platform and making sure that it's easily found by funeral consumers. We also can do what's called retargeting. So people who visit obituaries or the funeral home's website or an online planning and funding tool, that we can retarget them later with ads. And that's a great way to just keeping the user engaged and keeping the funeral home's brand in front of them, where, TV or some of the more traditional, you get one chance at that. With digital marketing, we can do more retargeting and targeting with demographics and lots of options there.
I like it a lot of times when we are making presentations, something similar to this, we often will poll the group and we'll say, we'll ask them, what are some of the most popular social media? What do they think is the most popular social media platform right now?
Yeah, everybody thinks of Facebook, and what we're really seeing, that it's crazy that a couple of years ago it just jumped out there, is YouTube hit the mark on the Pew Research that, it's over 80% of people are on YouTube consistently, and Facebook's about 70%. So it's just crazy to see that the people are using YouTube the amount that they are using it today.
So what are some of the things you're using to try to leverage those users on YouTube?
So there's multiple options. We can do educational content. So this could be content that just provides the education of the value of the funeral. A lot of times we're doing testimonials from the funeral home, just about families served that had a great experience. And sometimes it's really short, just brand awareness for the funeral home, just to keep their brand in front of their users. So there's a lot of options with YouTube. You can either do, where people are searching for different content. If the content's relevant, we can make sure the funeral home's content shows up there. Other options are in-stream or pre-roll ads. And so as the user's watching content, then they see content from the funeral home. And we've learned a lot through having people on our team that specialize in YouTube advertising about like what makes a great video, and making sure, because the statistics that we have are watch rates. We want to make sure that it's not just content that's out there that people are skipping. We want to make sure they're engaging. And, usually 50%, you're lucky to have someone watch 50% of an advertised video, or that percent of people skip it. We're seeing as over 75% of people are actually watching the full video, which tells us, one, we have the right length of content and the right kind of engaging content that people watching YouTube are engaged with.
What people on YouTube would see a funeral home's content?
Yeah, so typically we'll target demographics. So similar with Facebook, we can target people who are 50 and older, and that works great for just a brand awareness. We can also do if they're in the market for. So this could either be through retargeting or other points of interest that consumer has, that they're looking for estate planning or end of life decisions, and we can decide to target those people to know that they would be good consumers of the content we're developing.
That really is pretty good to hear. I'm curious about the results though, Mitchell. So say you get a pre-need lead or a sale. How do you know whether that was influenced by digital marketing, Google, YouTube, Facebook, etc.?
Yeah, the great thing about digital marketing is a lot of it's trackable. With more traditional marketing, you're kind of going off a sense of feeling or post-service surveys to figure out, did they hear about you a certain way? But with digital marketing, we can track phone calls or clicks on websites from advertising and things like that, which allows us to find the return on investment much easier.
Do you think it would be wise for funeral homes to consider maybe a strategy for putting all this together and making good use of all of these resources?
Yeah, I think it's important to have a comprehensive approach to it, to target either inbound marketing or outbound marketing, and to ensure you're covering the platforms in the right way to make sure you're not missing out on a percent of your market.
So can you explain to me what you mean by inbound and outbound?
Yeah, inbound is when somebody's coming looking for your services. So that's like Google Ads. When somebody's searching for a funeral home near me, they're looking for a service, and your inbound marketing is making sure you're there when they need to be served. Outbound marketing is more like brand awareness, and it's what more people think of as traditional marketing, where it's doing like TV and radio, and just staying in a presence in front of them. So that's going out to the community and keeping your brand in front of them.
So it seems like a good strategy would almost be like identifying what that ratio is going to be so that you can handle the amount of leads that come in, but also you're not spending money to get leads that no one's ever going to follow up on.
Exactly. And we find oftentimes people just do all of one or the other, and you have to make sure that you cover your bases with both.
How has consumer response influenced how funeral homes ought to go about putting these strategies together?
Yeah, we've seen obviously technology adoption has increased over time, but really COVID has ramped that up where funeral consumers weren't buying groceries or meeting with people online. Zoom grew a whole lot during that time where people are comfortable with meeting virtually. Same with purchasing online. Like I mentioned, groceries or Amazon blew up during that time. Same with the funeral consumers. They kind of now have that expectation that the funeral home buy purchasing options online. So on the pre-need side of having a purchasing tool where a funeral consumer can do the whole process, and marketing that supports that is really important to make sure those two work together.
When you're able to put all those strategies together in like an ideal situation, what does success look like? And do you have any stories of funeral homes who've had success with this?
I think what success looks like is meeting the funeral consumer where they're at. And so making sure, if they're online on Facebook, you meet them there, or you have a website that can serve them with the answers or the tools they need to get done what they need to get done. And then obviously if they're in an aftercare situation, you want to make sure that they are able to take in that aftercare how they want to. It used to be postcards or newsletters, but, consumers sometimes expect having a text message or an email check-in on see how they're doing. And they appreciate that follow-up after even the funeral services have concluded.
So one of my favorite questions I like to ask is, what does the funeral home owner risk by ignoring, this opportunity? What do they risk by not taking advantage of what's currently available to them in the digital marketing world?
I think too often we see they get too comfortable with what they're doing. And a lot of times they're like, well, we're the only person in town, or we're doing okay with not doing anything. And then you and I know this best is there's somebody moves into the market or a cremation society steps in and it's almost too late. It's 3 months down and they're trying to use marketing to get back on top. And so I think the biggest risk to them is either getting behind in their market without them knowing quick enough, or the funeral consumer not seeing the value of the service and then just going for the cheapest option.
You've given us a lot to think about today. I know digital marketing is way more than we can cover just in the few minutes that we have here today. But I'm really glad you were able to come in. Before you go, I would like to take this opportunity to just tell anybody who may be interested in learning more how they can get started. What's some advice that you have for them?
I think the best place to get started is kind of reviewing what you're doing currently and then developing a plan going from there. And so they can contact me or Lauren Schwenker, and we can help review the reports and the marketing they're doing today. And then we can develop a 12 to 18 month marketing plan to help them, ensure that they're getting all out of marketing that they need to be getting out of it.
And one of the things I do like about what it is that you do too is I think you help funeral homes every day who aren't even necessarily our clients, but just may have questions about digital marketing. So it's important to remember that you're a resource, pretty much for the entire profession as far as someone who can, give advice, the importance of how really important digital marketing is for the future of funeral profession. Mitchell, thanks so much for joining me today. It's been great having you, as it always is. And your insights on digital marketing, I can pick your brain for hours. I'm going to have you back if that's okay with you. And I would like to also encourage you all, if you have any questions, to feel free to email me at fdtalks@funeraldirectorslife.com. And if you have any questions or if you have any ideas for future episodes. Thanks for watching. If you would like to reach out to us about this episode or this series, please visit us online at funeraldirectorslife.com/FD Talks. There you can find information about this episode and submit any comments, suggestions, or feedback about our series. And we also welcome your ideas for future episodes. Join us next time on FD Talks as we explore ideas, insights, and solutions for serving families in a rapidly changing marketplace.